Deep forest, inaccessible terrain, far away from civilization. That's where I went on my summer VTSeva internship. Hi, my name is VTSeva, and in this video, I'll take you to Allampally, where GR Gurukulam's tribal schools are providing education to underprivileged children and making a change in thousands of lives. Allampally is a remote forest village in South India. How remote? We traveled for 7 hours from Hyderabad through dirt roads, creeks with rocky bottoms, and so much more. Allampally is located right in the middle of a tiger sanctuary in the deep jungle. Finally, we reached the school, which is the only concrete building in a radius of about 20 miles. While the journey was not easy, we were pleasantly surprised to see all of the students of the school stand outside in the rainy night to welcome us. Some students came forward to help us with our luggage, and we instantly became friends. I was so touched by their welcoming gesture. Here's where we stayed. It's pretty cozy. This is the room I shared with my friends. It may not look like it, but it was pretty comfy. So every morning, all the students gather and they talk about puzzles, daily news, and many more. It was pretty interesting to see. By the way, they're all really disciplined. I, along with my friends Pranati and Aniket, taught robotics to the students. And I have to say, all the students grasped the concepts really well. After some time, the robot successfully sensed the wall and turned around, and that was a moment of joy for me. They got it. My takeaway from these sessions is that these students are truly grateful for the education they receive, something that children in many other places take for granted.
My name is Achut.
These kids were so sweet and kind. They wanted to give us gifts even though they had so little themselves. All these students come from tribal communities, where even basic infrastructure doesn't exist. The majority of India's tribal communities live in extremely remote places, with no hospitals and no clean water. Still, their hearts are full of contentment and their minds are full of hope. Their enthusiasm is contagious. See how many students showed up at the dance lesson. Here's the impact that GR Gurukulam has on the kids. The children are now enjoying the shelter of GR Gurukulams, permanent structures instead of thatched huts. Children who were only able to speak in local dialects are now able to communicate in English. Kids now get to eat nutritious and wholesome food, which was once only a dream. More importantly, the whole community is benefiting because the kids are teaching their family members good habits that they learn at the school. These kids put on a really good talent show. There were a bunch of dances, singing, acrobatics, yoga. All these performances really blew me away. time I spent in Allampally, I will never forget in my entire life. I had so much fun that words can't even describe how I felt. I didn't miss the internet. I didn't miss Instagram. I didn't miss TikTok. Yes, at home I often find happiness by being on my phone, listening to my playlists, browsing through TikTok, or scrolling through Instagram. But now I realize that none of these activities never gave me the level of happiness I felt interacting with the Allampally kids. Visiting the nearby tribal villages was another rewarding experience for me. As several little kids held my hand and proudly gave me a tour of their villages, I couldn't help but notice how their faces glowed with contentment. There were no grocery stores, no movie theaters, or no restaurants in sight. They have dirt roads and have electricity for only a few hours of the day. How were they so happy? Judging from our conversations, their happiness is rooted in positive thinking. I'm going to study well, get a good government job, and take care of my parents and my villagers, said Rakesh, one ninth grader. Their happiness is also rooted in gratitude for what they have. They were happy that we came to see them and had new friends to play with. And even if they don't have the most comfortable lives, they still manage to have fun, enjoy, and laugh by finding happiness in the little simple joys of life. When our bus stopped and gave a ride to kids who were walking by the road, they were visibly elated. The tribal communities around Allampally at one time were very vulnerable to having their children join extremist organizations for the lack of better opportunities. Now, imagine how far these children have come thanks to GR Gurukulam tribal schools. They get admitted into prestigious colleges, and they achieve the highest academic ranks in the entire state and win merit scholarships. If not for these tribal schools supported by VTSeva, each and every one of these kids would be herding cattle or working as daily wage laborers or housemaids. Let's all support VTSeva so all these children can have a better future. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Even $1 a day can support a child, so please consider sponsoring one child.